What's up, Grayson Report? Happy New Year. I mean, it's not New Year yet, but happy New Year's Eve, guys. It's almost New Year's on the East Coast. We still have another 3 hours, but how is everyone doing? What is up? I'm on the wrong screen. What is up, Matthew, Dusty, Matthew with the Lisa Rocks. Thank you, Matthew. Shelly, Carol, Heather, whatever, Joanne, Peggy, Nerd Report, Tammy. What is up? And as Nerd Report says, my birthday is next week. It's a week from today, but I believe we are going to have, or I'm going to have the birthday stream on Sunday, but I will let you know. Brandon goes, happy early birthday, Lisa. Also, happy New Year, Wolfpack. Thank you, Brandon. Wendy, what is up? It's beautiful. Have a wonderful hi, beautiful people. Have a wonderful New Year. Thank you, Tammy. Happy early birthday. It's my birthday week, bitches. Actually, no, it starts tomorrow, my birthday week. But still. How's everyone doing? Brandon, thank you for being a Wolfpack member. Thank you for being a Wolfpack. Thank you for being a member of the Wolfpack for 19 months, howling at midnight for the Wolfpack hearts for Brandon. Thank you, Brandon, for the support. While we're waiting for people to trickle in, I do have, hold on, a few articles I'd like to and as always, guys, Carol already found him. I was in a pinch, so I kind of just put him somewhere. But guys, as always, Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. Just remind me at the end of the stream and I will reveal his location. If you don't know who Skeleduck is or are watching on the replay, that is what he looks like. He's in my upper left-hand corner, might be your upper right-hand corner. I hide him every stream, and it is not the one that's by the blue peep bunny. That is his brother that goes to the gym. So just remind me at the end of the stream, and I will reveal his location. Wendy goes, yeah, happy birthday week is mandatory. Exactly. It is. They did announce, I'm not going to go too much into it as I haven't finished watching it yet. I just started watching Squid Game, Electric Boogaloo. Yesterday I saw the first episode. So far it's good. I enjoyed the first season, but they did announce that there's going to be a season 3 and that's going to be the final season or installment, I should say, of Squid Games. If you guys haven't caught it, it is on Netflix now, 1 and 2. I'm not going to read this article because I don't want it to give away stuff for me. But they did announce that Squid Game season 3 is a go, and that this will be the last. It is a South Korean film. It is in Korean, but in Netflix you can dub it in English, but I prefer hearing I am half Korean myself, and I prefer hearing the Korean. Plus the fact too, when they dub some of these things, the voices don't match the actors. When we were watching the first season of Squid Games, for some odd reason, it was on English dub, and I was just laughing because the voices do not match the people. I mean, I honestly would rather I felt like it was worse than, the old kung fu movies where they would be talking and their mouth would still be moving. At least the voice kind of matched the person. Kind of. Nerd Report, what is up with the Happy New Year and the happy birthday, Lisa. It's my birthday week, guys. Again, for people, Bernadette, what is up? For people just coming in, I'm planning a birthday stream. It's probably going to be on next Sunday. But check my socials. I should have more info on my next stream. But it is good. My birthday week starts tomorrow with the new year. They also announced a Smile 3. If you guys are into Smile, I haven't seen the second one. It is on my list. I didn't care for the first one too much, but it does begin production in 2025. I don't know if I should read the article too because it might give away things. I do know Jack Nicholson's son is in Smile 2. He looks like the spitting image of his father. Creepy. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to read it just in case it gives away spoilers. I heard the second one's better than the first. Again, like I said, I did not like the first one. I never finished it. I felt like the fan, because there is a fan film out there that I found on YouTube, and I liked it way better than the movie. I felt like the fan film was creepier than the movie. Thank you, Brandon, with the happy birthday, Lisa. Thank you, Dusty. Gene, Rick, what is up? Thank you. Chris Barber, how's it going? Boss Barbie, thank you. So to start off, or actually it's not to start off, it's more the ending to 2024. We've got the 10 scariest horror movies of 2024 according to Screen Rant. And whoever wrote this article, Anthony Orlando. 2024 featured plenty of unique and frightening horror movies that left a strong impression on the world. Films like Smile 2 and Longlegs succeeded in theaters by featuring plenty of surprising horror movie jump scares, as well as a great amount of spine-tingling suspense. Meanwhile, movies like Terrifier 3 and The Substance stood out by presenting an overwhelming amount of blood and violence that both upset viewers' stomachs and brought in huge profits. Thank you, Gene Rick, for that super sticker. Hearts for Gene Rick, guys. Thank you for the piece of pie, Gene Rick. Hearts for Gene Rick. Whatever their style, many of 2024's great horror movies succeeded at scaring its audience. As the modern horror renaissance continues to sweep the cinema industry, 2024 presented many profitable and critically acclaimed films that have made for some of the best horror movies of all time. Simply put, 2024 featured some incredibly frightening movies, and these 10 films are the scariest ones of the year. And I think a lot of the ones that are on here I have not seen. I've heard of them, but I have not seen, so I definitely have to put them on my list to see what the hype is about. Immaculate, it was directed by Michael Mohin. Neon's film Immaculate shows one young nun becoming embroiled in a religious conspiracy in the midst of an unexpected and seemingly virgin pregnancy. Such a tale invokes relatable fears of motherhood and explores the horrors of society's mistreatment of women, as priests and nuns are shown jumping off cutting off people's tongues and branding people with hot irons. This film presents a gruesome depiction of religious extremism that anyone would find unsettling. Actor Sydney Sweeney left an especially strong impression in Immaculate's agonizing final scene. And I don't want to read it because I have not seen it, and I'm pretty sure some of you have not seen it, so I will skip that part. This makes Immaculate's conclusion one of the most deeply chilling and disturbing horror movie endings in recent memory. There's also Late Night with the Devil. I did see this one. I didn't feel like it was bad. I felt like it was something different. And I like to see different when it comes to horror, because lately we've been plagued with remakes, reimagining, Final Destination 25, you name. I mean, we didn't get the Final Destination. It's coming out this in 2025, but you get the gist of it. But I did like it. It's kind of like a talk show type of thing. Like a mind, like what I call a mind F, because it F's with your mind. Though there have been countless possession movies throughout cinema history, Late Night with the Devil presents a fresh spin on the movies like The Exorcist and its format. Late Night with the Devil, especially its ending, presents a shocking but comedic form of terror with its mockumentary style and hooky B-movie visuals. Though it takes time to build up to its truly horrifying moments, I do agree with that one. The film is nonetheless terrifying as it builds terror and suspense around Jack's demonic guest. And it is on Shudder, if you guys have Shudder. A lot of the film's horror can be credited to Ingrid Torelli's unnerving performances as the possessed Lily. The character switches in and out of a demon on a dime, but she always keeps viewers on edge as she displays a great darkness lurking beneath the surface. Late Night with the Devil culminates in a show-stopping climax featuring some incredible body horror effects and shocking deaths, particularly in the film's final moment. Smile 2, directed by Parker Finn. Smile 2, I think it's on Peacock, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where I saw it. Or Paramount. Paramount. It might be Paramount. I always want to say Peacock because Peacock always has all the... I need an update to check. It's on one of those. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now because my app needs an update. Go figure, right? No, it's not on Peacock, so I want to say it's on Paramount or who? Is it Hulu? It might not be on Hulu, but I want to say Paramount. Though director Parker Finn's Smile 2 relies on multiple jump scares to terrify its audience, the movie succeeds in presenting a frightening follow-up to the widely popular original film. Like the latter, the sequel crawls underneath its viewer's skin with its unnerving sound design, disturbing creature design, and shocking twists. Smile 2's ending in particularly made for an especially terrifying conclusion, and I'm not going to say that, and the implication it carries for those around the character. Sky's story also adds an extra layer of horror to the movie. Her experiences with DA and surviving a deadly car crash add profound emotional terror, especially when the film cuts back to her fateful accident. Despite featuring a creepy, smiley monster with demonic powers, Smile 2 features plenty of dark realism that allows the audience to emphasize with Sky and her story, making the fate at the end of the movie all the more horrifying. A Quiet Place Day 1, I did see this one. I felt like this one was the weaker of the bunch. The only thing, to be honest with you, the only thing I really liked in this one was a cat. There was a cat. I was always like, no, don't. I was always like, oh my God, not the cat, not the cat. But I'm a cat person, so I'm always going to root for the cat. But that was my thing watching it. I was like, not the cat. But I felt like in this one, the cat made the movie. Though the Quiet Place franchise has released 2 films before, the Death Angels proved to be as scary as ever in this 2024 prequel film. Don't get me wrong, the acting was wonderful in it. I just felt like this was like the weaker of the films. They are especially terrifying in hordes as they shake New York City itself and pursue their prey in a relentless invasion of Earth. Even when they are not on screen, the film builds incredible tension and suspense with the idea that they could be lurking around every corner, that even the slightest noise can lead to its person's death. When the killer aliens suddenly appear in the film, they unleash a jolt of terror so strong into the audience that it's enough to make viewers jump out of their seats. I did not. I don't know where this person got that from because I was not jumping out of my seat. Though the movie holds back on the gore and violence, it doesn't make the Death Angels any less terrifying. All in all, A Quiet Place Day 1 succeeded in presenting a nightmarish version of the end of the world with its massive scale, breathtaking suspense, and frightening twist. And I can't believe they put number 6 in a violent nature. I do not recommend this film. There was so much hype going into this film, directed by Chris Nash. So much hype. And you know, when there's so much hype, it piques my interest. So you know what? I wanted to check it out. It finally came on to Shudder. Checked it out. It is the most uneventful movie you could ever watch. There is no like anticipation because it's basically the point of view of the killer, pictured here. The idea was cool, but the fact is you already know what's going to happen, so there's no You know what I mean? There's no excitement like that what you get from watching a horror movie, and I like some of the cheesy ones even. But this one I did not like. It just was I mean, I didn't fall asleep, but I just felt like it just dragged. But everyone thinks it's the best thing on earth, and I personally did not. Heather, whatever, what is up? This modern slasher from writer-director Chris Nash presents a unique take on a popular but predictable genre. In a violent nature, unique perspective presents its story through the point of view of its masked villain Johnny. I mean, it's kind of parallels to Friday the 13th, I guess. In that kind of sense, the slasher thing, as he hunts down a group of teenagers in the woods in the vein of Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th. The movie presents a frightening realism to its story with its unsettling long takes and lack of musical score. I mean, the shots, like the camera shots, cinematography was amazing, but it just was flat for me. At the same time, the movie delivers plenty of gory and over-the-top kills, one commonly sees in the slasher genre. The movie spends plenty of time on Johnny as he meticulously mutilates his victim in gratuitous ways. That jaw-dropping yoga scene, I won't say that because I know some of you haven't seen it. In the end, in a violent nature, makes its mark by presenting a fresh but familiar brand of terror that goes above and beyond to shock and disgust viewers. It did not shock or disgust me one bit. I mean, I guess some it did because it had a bunch of hype with it. But not with me. The First Omen, directed by Akasha Stevenson. This is a prequel to the original Omen that came out in 1976. I actually did like this. I had no expectations for it because I'm a huge Omen fan, and I grew up watching Omen since I was a kid. I mean, probably I shouldn't have been watching it as a kid, but I grew up watching it as a kid. One of my favorites. Had no expectations going in. Kind of was like when I saw the trailer, there was a scene that kind of mimicked the 1976 film, but it did, but it wasn't exactly the same. And if you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Though it retreads similar elements from the 1976 Omen film, the first Omen puts a distinctive and terrifying spin on a classic story, with frightening echoes of classic horror films like Rosemary's Baby, and Possession. Though it features strong similarities to Immaculate, the film features a stronger degree of terror and shock value. Specifically, the film holds nothing back as it presents the terror of womanhood and religious repression experienced by Sister Margaret and the mysterious Carlita. While Margaret finds herself tormented and controlled by a satanic cult throughout the film, the First Omen unleashes graphic and disturbing images of demonic births and mutilated corpses. Lead actor Nell Tiger Free especially elevates the film's fight factor with her unsettling and layered portrayal of Margaret. When the latter finally gives birth to the Antichrist in the film's climax, Free invokes a primal and demonic performance that won't soon be forgotten. Delia Lux, Happy New Year! Heather, whatever goes, the first was super freaky. It was. I mean, how could you? I mean, something, especially with the Omen, because we got Damien, who's a kid, right? And we always think of children as being innocent, but in this movie, he was not innocent, and I love that about that because it's something that you don't expect. Alien Romulus. Sorry about that. It is on Hulu. I did get a chance to see it. I did enjoy it. It's directed by Fede Alvarez. He did the remake of Evil Dead. If you guys didn't catch that one, and I did like that one as well. He's more of I felt like because his Evil Dead was more of like a horror, like a true horror, while the original horror Evil Dead was more comical. And that's what I felt that he brought to Alien. He made it more I felt like there was more of a horror element to it, though Alien is kind of sci-fi-ish and horrific at the same time. Despite being a sequel to a revered horror movie, Alien Romulus, and there before I continue, I'm not going to give it away, but there is something that I was super impressed with in the film. I mean, it kept my attention from the beginning to end. So if you guys have Hulu and have not seen it and you're an Alien fan, check it out. Alien Romulus successfully replicates the chilling gothic atmosphere of Ridley Scott's original Alien film. Many audiences were already familiar with facehuggers and xenomorphs by the time this film premiered. However, Alien Romulus builds incredible suspense and psychosexual terror with its established story, which shows Rain and her friends find themselves stalked by murderous aliens throughout the titular space station. Alien Romulus also presents an unsettling depiction of androids, Andy's sudden lost identity, invoking rebelliant fears of AI and how it can turn against humanity. It's true, they're a machine. Machines always malfunction. The film's terror reaches its apex when Kay, in a shocking sequence, and I won't give this away if you guys haven't seen it. All in all, Alien Romulus manages to create unique and profound scares that live up to the high standards set by previous Alien films and resonated with modern audiences. I feel like this guy, when he wrote about the 10 films, he gave away spoilers too. Terrifier 3, I still need to see this. I'm a huge fan of Art the Clown. I had never seen the film. I just noticed that the hype around it when I went to Mad Monster. So I decided to check it out a couple years ago. I became obsessed. I mean, it is the sense of a B horror movie. It is gory. It is the slashers of the slasher. The second one, the main thing was with the trailer. Oh my God, people got sick and walked out. And I'm like, dude, they got sick for this? So, I mean, I guess for some people it is, but for me, it's not. Luisa's Life Rooster, how's it going? Wendy Korn goes, The Omen is one of my favorite movies. I had a picture book of real stills from the original movie. I was young. I thought it was the sizzle. I always liked this, and I know I've said this before. I know somebody that wouldn't watch it and wouldn't let her kids watch it. I mean, I get it why you wouldn't let your kids watch it, but she would not watch it because of the content of it, what it was about. With a much higher budget than its predecessor, Damien Leone's Terrifier 3 went all out, delivering its trademark brand of shocking content and ultraviolet gore for the holidays. Art the Clown featured new and innovative ways to mutilate his many victims in the film, and they are nothing short of disturbing. Images of art hacking two teenagers to pieces in the shower with a chainsaw and force-feeding a woman live rats will not soon be forgotten. Yes, he does stuff like that. Also, too, they re-released the movie in theaters for Christmas and Christmas Eve because it is kind of technically a Christmas movie. Terrifier 3's possessed new villain, Vicky, also makes for a frightening antagonist that ranks next to Regan McNeil from The Exorcist, invoking extreme terror and disgust throughout the film. The way I don't want to talk about that. On top of that, Terrifier 3's shocking cliffhanger ends, and I'm not going to read that either because it's giving away things. Ending leaves Sienna on such a dark note. I guess it doesn't. It makes her character's journey one of the most horrifying in modern movie history. I think if you have Screambox, I think the first Terrifiers, the first one and the second one's on there. I think on Tubi. If you guys don't have Tubi, download that app. It is a free app. There are so many movies, not just horror movies, but it does have some great horror movies, and some of the older movies. It even has like the cheesy ones like Zombievers on there. So if you don't have that app, check it out. There's other Terrifier. There's the Ninth Circle, which is a short. There's a 2011 Terrifier, which I did not know. There's All Hallows Eve, which I haven't seen yet, but it has Art the Clown, but it's a different actor. Then Terrifier, which came out in 2016 with Art the Clown that we know now. And then he also announced that there's going to be a fourth one. David Leone says, and I'm like, I don't know if we need another one, but I mean, if you like bloody, gory movies and you like his character, what I like about Art the Clown is he's like a meme or a mime. Like, he doesn't say a word. So, like, his facial expressions is what gets you. And then the fact that you know he's deadly. Luis's life, Happy New Year! Dusty goes, yes, Tubi's great for all genres. It is. So, like I said, I know I always mention it almost every stream, but it is a wonderful app and it's free. That's what makes it wonderful, even more wonderful. Long Legs, this is on my list. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've seen some clips from it of Nicolas Cage, and I'm like, damn, I need to watch this ASAP. Directed by Osgood Perkins. I know Osgood Perkins has another film that he has coming out. I don't remember the name of it. But I am looking forward to that too as well. Despite being a slow burning indie movie, Longlegs went viral as it succeeds at terrifying its viewers much differently than most modern horror films. Director Osgood Perkins films unnerves its audience as it bombards them with psychedelic and nightmarish images, making for a chilly odyssey into the complex mystery of the film's titular character. Longlegs, himself is an especially strange and unsettling character, thanks especially to the acclaimed performance of actor Nicolas Cage. He is my birthday twin. Longlegs shined in 2024 for delivering a deep feeling of dread and its unconventional approach to horror. The story also features an all but hopeless ending for protagonist Lee Harker and made it even scarier, as it left it ambiguous whether she will succumb to the curse of Longlegs. The film ensured it will leave a lasting impact on its audience long after the credits roll, making it one of the most distinctive and popular movies of 2024. Number one, The Substance. I think, yes, this is the movie with Demi Moore. I've heard a lot about it. I mean, sometimes when they say there's super hype around a movie, it doesn't necessarily mean it's good because we all have different taste. Lisa Boo, what is up? Director Corley forgets. I don't think it's forgets, because that would be, if it's pronounced forgets, that's a very interesting last name. Well reviewed, The Substance presented a bold version of horror not often seen in modern cinema. Like Terrifier 3, this movie features a stomach-churning level of body horror that attacks the viewer's senses with disturbing sights and sounds. Such horror is thanks especially to the film's terrifying makeup and practical effects, which is like the best way to go. Thank goodness. I do not like I'm all about the practical effects and makeup. It's almost becoming, I know there's a lot of movies that still try to use it, but it's still, it's like going toward, and I get it, we're going toward the age of technology where technology is becoming very where we all use our cell phones, we order online. Like, I get it. It's the sign of the times, but nothing beats practical effects and makeup. Like, a computer cannot do that. I mean, I guess it can, but the way it looks is a lot different from a computer than from actual practical effects, because they tried to do that with Chucky and it was a disaster, which unleashes several shocking transformation sequences and Evil Dead levels of blood and gore. The movie presents unforgettable images of Sue birthing out Elizabeth's back, the latter rapid physical decay following the abuse of substance, and the shocking and bloody New Year's climax starring Monstro Elisu. What makes the story even more terrifying is how its events were the result of one woman's insecurities brought on by men's demanding standards of female beauty. Many audiences can relate to Elizabeth's and Sue's story in The Substance, making it even more unsettling to witness her tragic downfall in the scariest of horror movies in 2024. I do have a lot of those on my list for sure that I want to see. So now my list has just grown longer. Before we get into the New Year's, creepy New Year's things that happened actually on New Year's Eve and some superstitions, I have one more article. So, two Oregon men That's happened the other day. Two Oregon men died from exposure after going to search for Sasquatch in Washington state. This made the news. I was like, what? Two men were found dead Saturday in a forest in southwestern Washington where they disappeared last week while searching for Sasquatch, authorities said. The bodies of the men 37 and 59 were discovered after a 3-day search through the Gifford Pinchot or Pinchot National Forest, according to the Skamanian County Sheriff's Office. Exposure appeared to be the cause of both deaths, the sheriff said in a statement, noting the men seemed unprepared for the brutally cold weather. Neither man was identified, but the sheriff said the pair was from Portland, Oregon. The sheriff's office has coordinated a search and rescue operation that involved the U.S. Coast Guard, multiple local law enforcement agencies, and 60 volunteers, including canine, drone, and ground search team to locate the missing men. They know the names of the men. They just don't want to disclose it for privacy reasons, which I don't blame them. Let the families grieve, because this is super unfortunate. Like the article said, they weren't prepared for their search, but I feel like if you know it's going to be cold, like make sure you bring a jacket, or maybe they didn't think they were going to be out there for so long. Their probe over difficult terrain and harsh weather conditions launched Christmas Day when Skamanian County sheriffs received a report of two individuals whose return from an outdoor excursion to track down Sasquatch was overdue. Also known as Bigfoot, Sasquatch is a mythical creature that in folklore is said to inhabit North American forests, especially those in the Pacific Northwest. The Skamanian County Sheriff's Office would like to recognize the exceptional volunteers who sacrifice time away from their families during Christmas to assist our agency with the mission. The office said these phenomenal volunteers also fought through freezing temperatures, snow, high water levels, heavy rain, downfall, and heavy wooded terrain. Their exhaustive search efforts result in bringing family members home to their loved ones. It's unfortunate that this happened. Very unfortunate. They probably had nothing to do and they were like, let's search for Sasquatch. But they weren't prepared, and unfortunately, but I'm glad they were able to be found so that the family could be let know and they could be laid to rest. But it is sad that could happen. And I guess there are still people out there still looking for Sasquatch. I know there is, but then to hear it on the news, but it's sad. It is sad because they're on an adventure looking for the existence, which there's a lot of people that um want to know, like, does he exist? I feel like those, I mean, any myths or legends I feel like are based on something true. Um if it is Bigfoot, like what they say is Bigfoot, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. We've never found any, as far as I know, I don't think there's ever been any proof or anything like a body. Like if Bigfoot's been around for this long, how long does he live? I would assume he would have the, the lifespan of you know like a, average animal does. I wouldn't think it would be for years. But also too, if there was more than one, would there be offsprings? You know what I mean? So I feel like you would see more of it, but I do believe that there is an existence of something that someone saw, like the Loch Ness monster, like the chupacabra, like all the other myths and legends that we do have out there, like the Ya Llorona. I feel like somewhere along the lines, these things existed. Lisa Boo goes, I think they are like apes or orangutans just descended. Joanne goes, probably has the lifespan of a Yeti. Probably. I wouldn't think they would live. I would think they would just have the normal lifespan. So I feel like we should have found a body. There should have been something, like, out of all these years. You know what I mean? But there hasn't been. It's just like, oh, sightings. Like we found this footprint. Um, but I believe that that story, all stories have some truth to it. I mean, I was trying to find ghost stories for New Year's and I couldn't find any. Um, or creepy, like scary superstitions, or like, is there a monster? I couldn't find anything, but I did find articles. Wendy Corn goes, I absolutely believe in the Loch Ness monster. I believe somebody saw something. I really do. With any, like I said, with any story that's out there, I believe that the, it's true. It came from somewhere. That's why I always find myths and folklore is fascinating, because I feel like um someone saw something. Someone told this story by mouth, probably. And then along the years, obviously, it changed to suit the times. But I feel like the root of the story, there is some truth to it. But I did find 7 creepy things. 7 seriously creepy things that have actually happened on New Year's Eve. And I mean, this is a bit of an old article. It's from 2017. New Year's Eve has been celebrated for more than 4,000 years, and with such a long history, there are bound to be a myriad of creepy stories about New Year's Eve madness and mayhem. The creepiest things that have happened on New Year's Eve run the gamut from a naked peeping Tom wearing a Ronald Reagan mask to people spotting otherworldly shadow creatures in the middle of the road. While most creepy stories are associated with Halloween, New Year's Eve originally began when the Babylonians started a tradition of welcoming each new year with a massive religious festival called Akitu, according to history.com. In addition to the new year, Akitu celebrated, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, I do apologize in advance, celebrated the mythical victory of the Babylonian sky god Marduk over the evil sea goddess Tiamat. New Year's Eve activities have certainly evolved since then, and today the holiday best known as a time to reflect over the previous year while also settling intentions for the year ahead. With the slaying of monsters reserved for stranger things, for most people, New Year's Eve is a night of massive celebrations with expectations, where expectations are high, drinks are flowing, and everyone is out to have a good time. I feel like New Year's Eve is when everyone goes out, and it's right, drinks are flowing. Everyone goes out to have a good time. Not everyone. I mean, I'm not one of those. I would rather stay home and stay out of the bustle. Um and when you let your guard down, creepy things can happen when you least expect it, like that horror movie where an intruder is calling from inside your house. Don't believe me? These creepy things that have happened on New Year's Eve just might change your mind. Lisa Boo goes, I think there are animals, creatures that are not known yet. Very true. I believe that too. And as Dusty says, they keep finding more sea creatures. Why not ones on land too? Exactly. We're finding both both. I agree with both of you. We're finding more and more sea creatures that are in the depths of the ocean. Why not find more creatures on land that we don't know about? So I do agree that true. Very true. The Phantom Texter. Okay, so I used to watch General Hospital, and at one point there was a mystery figure offing people in the sleepy town of Port Charles. Because each person received a text before the killer caught them in his trap, he became known as the text message killer. One Reddit user had a similar New Year's Eve experience, and while no one was hurt, the phantom text would make anyone uneasy. Reddit user JA began receiving text messages from an unknown number on New Year's Eve that said, I'm outside. What? That would freak the hell out of me. What about you guys? If you were just sitting on the couch watching TV and you get this anonymous text from an unknown number, I mean, most of the most of the unknown numbers that I get from text go to my spam, so I probably wouldn't even get it. But say like you happen to get this one and it says I'm outside. Like that would freak. And then if you're home alone on that would freak me the hell out. The message began to escalate, and at one point, the mystery texter claimed to be inside the house watching Jay and Friends. The text continued throughout the night with the texter describing Jay's car and sending creepy texts while they were driving home that insinuated the texter was watching Jay. When others tried to call the number that Jay was receiving the text from, they got a message saying it was not a working phone number. What? While the messages eventually stopped, the fear never really went away. I haven't dived too deep into this. One on hand, I felt that something really bad could happen if I kept probing it, and nothing has happened so far. But on the other hand, I don't have any closure, and sometimes I get paranoid about getting another message. I don't blame him or her. It says JA, so it might be a guy. I don't blame him. That would freak me the hell out. Dusty's going dun dun dun. That would freak me out. That's like out of a horror movie. It really is. You're like sitting there watching horror movies on New Year's Eve. You're like, and then you're watching all your friends, like, hey, come to our party. But you're like, nah, I want to stay home. And you're watching horror movies, and someone texts, I'm outside, and then starts texting you like, this is what your car looks like. What? That would freak me the hell out. Luisa's life, that would be free. Definitely. The peeping Tom. Oh my God. I was thinking these were gonna be like, that was creepy. I wasn't thinking it was gonna be creepy, but that was creepy. The peeping Tom, one of my worst fears is seeing a strange face peering into my window. This is exactly what happened to an Alabama couple on New Year's Eve 2015. Only the peeping Tom was in the buff with a sock covering his you know what and wearing a Ronald Reagan mask. What? I know a lot of people are laughing about it, and honestly, I get a chuckle from it later, but at the same time, it's very concerning. Danielle Yancey told Alabama media news site AL.com. I don't know what he was planning on doing. Very true. I mean, if you saw something like that, I mean, it's comical to think about it, but at the time, if you saw something like that in your window, it's frightening. Apparently, Danielle's husband caught a glimpse of the naked peeping Tom while he was taking out the trash, and a home security camera confirmed that it was not all in his head. Police never caught the nude presidential peeper and chalked the incident up to a drunken prank or a lost bet. Possibility. Possibility. Channeling Norman Bates. Witty Corn goes horrified. Yes. I mean, you don't think of it horrifying, but if you see a guy wearing a mask and he's completely in the buff, covering his his you know what, you don't know what his intentions are. Like, you don't know who this person is. You don't know his intentions. I mean, obviously he's in the buff, so he probably you could tell that he has nothing on him, but still, you don't know what he's up to. You don't know if he's trying to get into your house or what. That would scare me. The channeling Norman Bates. This one is pretty disturbing. A Florida man who told police he was angry with his mother used an axe to what? To dee her on New Year's Eve 2014, according to CNN. The creepiest part is the mugshot taken after the man was arrested. In the photo, he's smiling like one would for childhood school pictures. The man was apparently fed up with his mother nagging him about moving some boxes into the attic. Sheriff Bob Gualtieri told CNN he unalived his mother because his mother was asking him to put some boxes in the attic. Like, what is going on through this dude's head? That is crazy. Dusty goes, must be freezing his butt off if naked at New Year's Eve. Yes. Yes. I mean, I guess they kind of pushed it off as maybe it was a prank or somebody was super drunk. I mean, which could happen on New Year's. That is crazy. His mother did not deserve that at all. The lady in white. There's always a lady in white. Perhaps you've had experiences of having a stranger turn up to your New Year's Eve party. This actually happened to me once, but it was no big deal, and we invited her inside to join the festivities because had gotten lost and couldn't find the party she was actually headed to. However, Reddit user Hits Guitar wrote that an unexpected guest materialized out of nowhere at their New Year's Eve party. All of the doors and windows were locked, and no one admitted to letting the old woman dressed in white inside the house. Upon leaving the party, she dropped two scarves on the doorstep. Nobody knows how she got in, and me and my mom are freaking out because we think that's a symbol of something and it's not good. Hits Guitar wrote, adding that a cousin saw the woman in his dreams a few nights later, though no one ever saw her again. Dusty! You could read what she wrote. Holiday hauntings. Have you ever gotten the feeling that you're not alone even when you are? According to the website Wattpad, one woman had an unwelcome guest on New Year's Eve. One she could hear but not see. The trouble began when things started disappearing. The woman and her boyfriend kept losing items they were using only to have it reappear a few minutes later. Later in the evening, a strange man's voice joined the conversation, yelling right in response to a comment on one of the guests made. Eventually, every guest heard an invisible person coughing in the bathroom, even though there was no one there. The strange activity stopped the next day, so perhaps the ghost just really likes to join in the New Year's Eve festivities. Scary noises in the woods. If you're thinking camping is a low-key way to ring in the new year, the story might make you reconsider. Reddit user sarcastic bitchy wolf was camping. It's a great name. Was camping with friends when the noise of someone or something screaming began terrifying the group. If you recently marathon Stranger Things, then you know hearing anything strange in the woods is pretty terrifying. The Reddit user was so scared that they abandoned their friends and left a note behind so their friends would know that they hadn't been eaten by a monster but had just gotten scared and went home. You don't know what true vulnerability is until you're on the outskirts of the woods in a tent with 3 lives in your hands while some paranormal creature is hunting you and teasing you. I sat there in silence until about 6 in the morning when I was certain it had stopped. Sarcastic bitchy wolf wrote, I couldn't take it anymore. The damn thing had driven me insane. My work there was done as I was certain it was gone. I left a note that said I went home and I wasn't dead so I could reassure my friends when they woke up later on. Dusty goes just a small kind of scare. And then the zombies came. Sometimes strange occurrences can be chalked up to having too much to drink, but Reddit user Hellblazer310 claimed that despite partying until 2:30 a.m. on New Year's Eve, the night not quite human creature they and a friend encountered was real. That's when we saw it. Something that looked like a naked person but wasn't quite human waddled down the street toward us. It moved as though it were half squatting, and because of this, its hands dragged along the ground as they hung limp at its side. I couldn't make out its face, and Max told me later that he couldn't either. It was also making a throaty, gurgly noise as if it was almost choking on something. The author and Max did the only sensible thing, and they got the hell out of there. Well, it's pretty likely that your New Year's Eve could go array in a number of ways: surging Uber prices, bad dates, even worse hangovers, and unmet expectations. You can now add Halloween type creepy stuff to the list of reasons that it might just be better to stay home on New Year's Eve. If you're that is crazy. These are crazy stories. I wasn't expecting those to be crazy like that. Cuz sometimes when they say creepy stories, they'll say or when you're looking for a horror story, they'll talk about, like, for Christmas, for example, they'll talk about Christmas horror stories and you're like, "Yes, ghost stories." And then you read it. My wife and I were making the turkey dinner. Um as I was taking out the turkey, our lab went after and destroyed the turkey. We had no dinner. That is our horrifying Christmas story. And I'm like, what? That's not what I was looking for. Yes, on the East Coast, guys, it is now January 1st. So happy New Year's, guys. We're still in the past over here on the East Coast or West Coast. Happy New Year's, guys. We are not there yet. We're 3 hours behind. Dusty is definitely in the past. It's 7 p.m. in Hawaii. She's 2 hours behind us in Hawaii. So she's in the past, in the past, in the past. But Happy New Year's to everyone watching on the East Coast. So with that, I have 7 creepy New Year's superstitions that'll keep you up past midnight. You probably want to think twice before you tackle that load of laundry on New Year's Day. The only one I've heard with New Year's is Tammy's still in the past. She's in 11:02. She's an hour away from the new year. The only superstition I've heard for New Year's is to have money in your wallet, and I've always done that, but I've always carried $2 bills in my wallet for luck. So I always have money in my wallet, no matter what. I haven't really heard any others. Sparklers and confetti, check. Noisemakers, yep. Champagne, got the Costco bulk pack. Fresh baguettes or sourdough belay to beat against the walls of your house during a New Year's Eve party to chase away evil spirits. Maybe that's one New Year's custom you're a little less familiar with. When it comes to traditions people embrace to ring in the new year, some are less known than others, and many are downright spooky, so much so that they could give baby New Year and Father Time nightmares. Below are 6 unsettling superstitions from around the world that make December 31st feel more like October 31st. Happy New Year, Matthew! Dusty goes, I always keep at least 1 penny in my wallet all year round. I do have coins in my wallet as well. So I am squared away in that department. Because I heard that you want to start the new year right, and you don't want to start it with an empty wallet. So you can have a prosperous year. Wendy, Happy New Year! Use bread to scare away spirits that mean you harm. I have never heard this. That sourdough bread baking hobby will come in handy if you want to partake in this old Irish New Year's Eve tradition. Back in the day, residents of the Emerald Isle would bang loaves against doors and walls just before midnight to ward off any angry apparitions or problematic phantoms that might be lurking. Whacking wheat bread and clubbing ciabattas against the wall is also believed to send bad luck packing and ensure that your family won't go hungry for the next 12 months. Set a place at the dinner table for lost loved ones. I have never heard of this. I do hear I hear most like during Dia de los Muertos, and I know some of the Asian cultures have a holiday that they do celebrate lost loved ones as well. And I know that they do this. Another Irish New Year's Eve custom is to leave the door unlocked and set a place at the dinner table on New Year's Eve to welcome back the spirits of loved ones who were lost during the last year. To some, it might suggest that Irish households are a revolving door of wanted and unwanted specters during the holiday. Joanne goes, something about a dark-haired gentleman arrived through front entrance with a glass of whiskey. Don't even think about going into the laundry room on New Year's Day. Luckily, I don't need to do laundry, so I'm okay with that. For most people, doing laundry is an everyday household task, but as it turns out, there's a shocking number of spooky superstitions that revolve around performing the seemingly mundane chore around the new year. The most severe claim that if you clean clothes on January 1st, you'll be washing for the dead, and a member of your family will be washed away, which is really just a poetic way of saying someone you love will die at some point in the coming year. It will also send a year of good fortune spiraling down the drain. Even the least ominous of these laundry-related superstitions is still no laughing matter. Tradition holds that if you wash a load of clothing on New Year's Day, you'll jinx yourself into having more laundry than usual all year round. Nope. Gunner girl, what is up? Luis's life goes eat black-eyed peas, canned beef, and cabbage. We ate it a little early. Mom and grandson couldn't wait. Don't get rid of anything until January 2nd or else. According to this New Year's superstition, nothing, be it leftover pizza, empty wine bottles, you get the idea, should be removed from your house until after New Year's Day. It was even a thing back in the Victorian era, although our 19th century forebears believed you could get rid of stuff with no problems, provided you replace whatever you toss with something new. Either way, the consequences for not adhering to this custom are dire. The idea is that it'll set the tone for a steady stream of people and things to leave you in the year to come. If you want to avoid a year of misfortune, maybe hold off on the shopping sprees for a couple of days. Joanne goes, good thing I did laundry today. Dusty goes, I believe in cooking a feast on New Year's Eve. I made shoyu turkey and crock pot barbecue pork today for a week of great meals. Oh, that's super cool. Gunner Girl, Happy New Year. Burn effigies to get rid of the last year's bad vibes. New Year's Eve is particularly lit in Ecuador, where at the stroke of midnight, the country takes the streets to burn effigies referred to as monogotes of politicians, pop culture figures, and other icons that represent the Año Viejo, old year. This is often after men dressed as mourning widows beg for money while in costume and parade the dummies through the streets. The symbolic cleansing dates back to an 1895 yellow fever outbreak. Back then, people stuffed caskets full of clothes from the deceased and set them ablaze as a literal and figurative purification ritual. Nowadays, some folks also hide messages in the monogotes, listing off all the bad things from the past year that they want to put behind them in the upcoming one. There's kind of similar, there's spells that do that. If you guys follow Wicca, there's kind of spells where you do a ritual and you burn like a piece of paper with the candle. That's what I kind of feel like. You're kind of burning all your demons away when you do that, which I don't see there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like in a way that's kind of like like it kind of gives you peace and it helps you find closure. Nowadays, some folks also hide messages in the monogotes, listing off all the bad things from the past year that they want to put behind them in the upcoming one. If you can't afford an elaborate monogote of your own, you can use a simple scarecrow and mask. Added luck in the Año Nuevo is also said to come to anyone who jumps the flame once for every month of the year. Make lots of noise on New Year's Eve, but don't forget to open all the doors and windows. At the risk of catching your death of cold, consider implementing an old strategy from the Philippines. Homeowners opened all the doors and windows just before midnight to serve up an eviction notice to any bad juju that might be lingering around and usher positive auras into their abodes. That's not the only way to keep wicked wraths from darkening your doorstep either. According to Filipino tradition, the more noise you make on December 31st, the better, as it's also believed that a big ruckus helps to drive away evil spirits. You'll have a reason to be loud and scared all over again when the extra high heating bill from your party comes in the mail because you're leaving all the windows open. I've heard that too, like when someone dies, like cover the mirrors and stuff like that. So I always find those fascinating when I hear different beliefs and traditions. Dress up like a demon and maybe ensure a good harvest. Like Halloween, some New Year's superstition involve a costume change. In small villages around Japan, including Oga, young men dressed as the Namahaji, aka ogre-like demons, go door to door to frighten lazy people. They also threaten to snatch away misbehaving children, always misbehaving children, but back off once the head of the household offers sake and rice cakes. Basically, it's like Krampus, only significantly more menacing and tied to the new year instead of Christmas. These terrifying figures are also believed to bring protection from illness and disasters once appeased, as well as good harvests and plentiful food year round, so at least there's an upside. Those were creepy. What did you guys think of those superstitions from around the world? I kind of like the one from Japan. Um, Dusty goes, it's also a Hawaiian tradition to share with others. I took some of my food to my neighbor. Super cool. Joanne goes, fire is ritually cleaning. Very true. Lisa Boo goes, they're fascinating. It is. I always find different traditions or superstitions fascinating. Something different than what we know. It's actually always cool because other traditions, other I feel like other not traditions, but other cultures around the world, some of them are more spiritual than we are here in the States. Um and I like that because I'm a very spiritual person and I very much believe in the spirit world and all that. So when I hear superstitions like the one in Japan, always involves children. It seems like. But I always find those fascinating. And I wish we had some stuff like that. If we had a Krampus, it would be so cool. I mean, most of them, obviously, the ones involving children were to make sure that the children wouldn't misbehave. I mean, the only thing we have here in the States is the coal and the stocking. Heather, whatever goes, open doors. She also says we have coyotes and don't know if the bears went to sleep and mice come in. My dogs come first. Or no open doors, she said. Exactly. I don't blame you. You don't want a bear or coyote come in. I mean, we have coyotes too and mice. So I know what you mean. And even with my doors closed, I still get mice. They're finding a way to come in somehow. I like mice. I just don't like them roaming freely in my house. If you know what I mean. They're like roaches, like water bugs. You don't want to ever have roaches in your house. Water bugs, roaches, because they multiply. And I hate roaches. I really do. Those are the ones I cannot stand. And I mean, I have a house behind my I have a house behind my house. I have a hill behind my house. So, I mean, obviously I'm going to get the mice and the the critters and all that kind of stuff, which I'm used to, which I don't mind. I've grown up around that, but I just like roaches. I hate roaches. Heather, whatever goes, I like mice, but not mouse poop. They carry the hantavirus. Yeah, they're not any poop in general, not just mouse poop, is not sanitary. Joanne goes, sometimes a mouse would get into a beehive. No way. I agree. Dusty, rodents belong outdoors. I totally agree. I mean, I know there's people that have pets. I've had a pet rat when I was younger. The most They even said like a pet rat is the cleanest animal you can have, but that's different. It's a pet rat. It's not a rat or a mouse that's been outside that you don't know what it picked up. You know what I mean? That's what I don't like. I don't mind the ones that are meant to be a pet. But I know what you mean, Heather, whatever. Like just poop in general from any animal is not sanitary for us. So that's the one thing I do not like them in my house. And then you start cleaning it, especially when you've had mouse and you clean mice in your house and you start cleaning, you're like, damn it, that's where the mouse went. But all right, guys, I am going to open it up for questions. If you guys have any questions, I'll give you a few minutes to look for Skeleduck. He's not in a super hard place today, but Chris found Skeleduck. But I'll give you guys a few minutes to look. Did you guys watch anything interesting? I haven't had a chance. I've kind of been behind. I did finally get to see the first episode of Squid Game season 2. Did not disappoint. Logical Spark, how's it going? Matthew goes, I found them long ago. I didn't have time to hide them because I was running kind of late. I was in a hurry. So I was like, I'll put him over there. Wendy's asking, "What am I doing tonight?" To s- I am going to have a nice, quiet evening. I'm going to stay home, stay away from the crazy drivers. Because usually when I went out on New Year's Eve, I would try to get back home before the bars close. The bars close here at 2 in the morning. So that was always my thing. I would try to get home before 2 or would stay where I was at, or stay home because I feel like that's the safest. You don't have to worry about there's going to be a lot of people drinking tonight, and you won't have to worry about, not to say that people are going to drink and drive, but you will get those people, unfortunately, that will do that, and I don't want to be one of their victims. It's not like this is the day or the night not to drive. Um And I mean, I've seen, like, on a non, like, day like today, I've seen people drive drunk, and I'm like, "Come on, people." Like, just get I mean, there's so many just get a Uber or a Lyft or something. I mean, it's the day and age where you could just get a car ride. You know what I mean? Or take an Uber to the place and back just to where you have no car keys. But there's people that will still get in and drive. Lisa Bugo, that's right. Don't drink and drive. So many reasons not to do it. Very true. Chris Barber, oh, I feel for you. I know I've had a lot of people come in um to the adoption center and the same thing as you're feeling, Chris, where they feel lonely and they go it's not the same and they end up adopting. I had one, it was an older man. He was kind of hard of hearing, and he was in the same situation as you, Chris. And he was like, "Well, my wife misses our dog because our dog would used to sleep with us." And he adopted. We had a little Pomeranian. He was all white, had the cutest little face, and he was so grateful when he adopted him. So I know, and then I've also had the other side of it where people where that has happened as well, and they just don't feel comfortable. They don't think they're ready yet. Logical Spark goes, I had a grandpa that back in the 60s drove home from a pre-Christmas party and didn't make it home. Wow. Heather whatever goes, my dog keeps me up at night. He's an older dog. Wendy goes, my cats are freaking out right now because of all the fire. Wendy, do you have fireworks going on? Sorry, Logical Spark goes, alcohol was involved. I'm sorry to hear that happened. Dusty goes, I stay home with my dog for her comfort. Chris goes, I need to save up money for it first. They are around 300 bucks. I know at my adoption center the prices run, it depends on if they're a specialty breed, if because all the dogs that we do adopt out are fully vaccinated, microchipped, and fixed. If they're not fixed, we do give them a voucher that's included with the adoption fee. So, and it all just depends on the age and the type of breed it is as well. Joanne goes, I want another dog. Also, Milo passed a year ago. Lisa Boo goes, I just got notified for your stream. YouTube, your beats pesky. Wendy saying it's fireworks. I know cats do not like fire. Dogs don't like fireworks, in fact. I heard some when I got home earlier today at like around 7 p.m. I heard some and I was like, they're shooting off fireworks? Like where? Hopefully it's not my neighbors because fireworks are illegal here. But I know eventually I am gonna probably end up taking a dog home. But I feel like I feel like I probably will eventually. I just need to feel the right vibe. Chris goes, noises never bothered Gilligan. Heather Rutter goes, my dog had all the necessities fixed, chips, shots from a shelter. He's a snug, very active, even at 12 years old. That is super cool. Chris goes, he was such a sweet boy. There's dogs that I've seen that would never, they're the sweetest thing ever. Like we have one now. He'll, if I sit in his kennel, he'll curl up and sit on my lap. He is the sweetest thing. He is so calm. He doesn't bark. He kind of goes with the flow type of thing. And I hope he gets he's kind of my favorite right now. So I hope he finds a loving. He's a little like a Chihuahua mix, like Beagle mix. He's like this big, but he is just so cute. Heather whatever goes, my dog is Jack Sparrow and he likes Lisa's voice. He's very protective. Dusty goes, I knew immediately when I saw my dog at the shelter and she loves me too. Sometimes you just know, like, that's your dog. Or a cat. Heather whatever goes, beagles are sweeties. They are. I've met several of them. And they are like the sweetest dogs you can ever meet. So loving. I mean, all the dogs I've met, I've loved. Even the big ones. We have a few big ones that aren't trained, so they jump on you, but they are the most. I love every dog I have at my center. Joanne goes, the vet fees are extremely expensive. We have that too. I feel like I know we have pet insurance though that can help, but I feel like with vets, some of them are just trying to get money from you. Some of them. I'm not saying all of them. It's like a mechanic. I feel like it's kind of like a mechanic. You know how a mechanic is trying, there's some of them, not all of them, but there's some that will try just to make money off of you and throw everything at you. And there's some people that will go for it. And I feel like with the vet, it's the same thing. There's some of them, oh, we're going to do this and this and this when you don't need to do this and this and this, but we'll charge you $1,000 anyways, which is sad. It's very sad that that's happened. And then obviously, if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of money, but you want to help your animal, but you're stuck between a hard place and a rock and a hard place, so it kind of puts you in a position like that. And then you go to a rescue, which will help you. Will try to find a cheaper solution to help you. So it's like, yeah, it's not all vets. I'm not saying that all veterinarians do that, but I know a lot of them do. Joanne goes, I like Chihuahua Jack Russells. I call them the littles. I like the little dogs. Heather whatever goes, mine is all a mini schnauzer, though mixed with pug attitude. You have to be a pack leader or they dominate. Ah. Luisa's life goes, mom and grandson both have fallen asleep. Luisa's life, I miss having a golden and a Dutch hound. All right, guys, real quick before I forget, Skeleduck is right there, right where my finger's pointing. It's on my left hand side of the screen. Might be on your right hand side. He's right next to my gym going gnomes. I had them. I just hadn't taken them out yet. I finally got a chance to take them out. So I've got my gym going weightlifting 6-pack gnomes there. They have more of a 6-pack than I do, but he is right there where my finger's pointing. Chris goes, my vet is wonderful. He stayed the day I took my boy in and came in to give me a hug. He didn't have to do that. That is a vet that you need to keep. That is a compassionate vet. That's what I'm saying. Not all vets are like that. But you have found the golden ticket, Chris. Dusty goes, in Hawaii, the breed of fleas are so strong the market remedies don't work. We have to give them the tri-pill. Wow. Lisa Boo, thank you, and Happy New Year's. All right, guys, any last minute questions before I end this stream? That is super cool, Chris. He has been our vet for 3 dogs. That is cool. I would definitely keep him. Heather Whatever goes, thank you, Lisa, for a year of great shows. Happy New Year. Thank you, Heather Whatever. Happy New Year to you as well. We still have 2.5 hours till the clock strikes midnight here. Wendy, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Lisa, in chat. Dusty goes, more fun to come next year, Lisa. Definitely. All right, guys, if you have no further questions, I am going to end the stream here. This will end this edition of Grayson Report. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you guys have a great new year. I'll catch you in the new year. On my next stream, which will be Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 p.m. Pacific, or wait a minute, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 Eastern Standard Time. I got it mixed up. Be there or be squared. Stay spooky, guys. Sweet nightmares, and have a great rest of your week. I will see you on the next one. Happy New Year, New Year's, guys. Good night.